My name's Barbie the Welder, and I am making a dragon. And it's not just any dragon. It is 9.5 foot tall, and when I get done, if I do my job right, he will also be about 10 foot long and have a 10-foot wingspan. Now, I've been working on him for quite a while, and I thought that some of you guys have seen some of my videos of the smaller projects I made, and I thought, why not share with you what the process is that I am using to make this dragon. Now, I don't know what I'm doing, and everything is figure outable is my story, and I'm sticking to it. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm just problem solving the whole project, and I'm just gonna I'll share with you here what I've been doing. Now, what you're looking at is the dragon half into my garage. Because never once did I stop and say, hey, 10 foot or 8 foot ceilings, 10 foot dragon math isn't going to work. So I have a dragon that is slightly taller than the space I have to work in. So I've had to actually cut them apart a couple times as I've gone through the process. Started with his head and worked down through, and then when I got to the legs, I had to cut the head off in order to put the head on to fit him in. So then after I got done, I had to drag him back out into my driveway and weld the head back on. So I've actually gone through this a couple of times because of never making something of this size and the complexity. So I'll show you how I started is that starting out, I've got it's a 1/4 inch round bar frame, and I just started by, I outlined the head. I took the one side, I don't know if you can see this so well, but so there's his head. So I started with the head and the neck, and you can see these two pieces here. Well, maybe you can't. These two pieces here, I did an outline on either side, and what I thought like the side view of the face should look like. And did that, and then as I did that, I went and did the centerpiece, the third one in the middle, and got that to come out. And I started just going out to the side, like what would the side of his face look like? How should his nose be shaped? It definitely I get a picture in my head and just start going. The like how I come up with my stuff is I guess I just come in I guess stuff kind of just comes to me. That's it's like, hey, let's make a dragon, and there goes a dragon. But so next step, after I got the 1/4 inch round bar for the head, I went and I started doing the body, and the whole thing to start off with ended up being the legs, and the body, and I just started going through and thinking like, what would it look like if it was shaped like this? Figuring out proportion was quite interesting, and I did reference pictures that were online. That I looked at the head and like kind of like did some math, like, okay, if the head's 2 inches here and I want it to be 9.5 foot, tall, like how can I have that done? So I got this all framed out in that 1/4 inch round bar, and then went through and I had to take, like I said, I had to take it outside, got that all figured out, welded it back together, and then got really excited, cut the head back off, brought the head into my shop, and started doing the scales on his neck and his head. And you can see each of the scales, which it'll be plates all down, but underneath his head's not done yet. But then you can see like his on the top of his head, I don't know if it's like a fin or what the heck you would call that, but like how it flares out on the side. Each of those pieces are one piece, and then there's this 1/4 inch round bar behind it. See if we can get you to see it. 1/4 inch round bar behind it that supports that. So I got that far, and right now the mouth is closed mostly. It's closed in the front and open on the side. And as I went along, I was just like, there's no way that I can make a dragon and not have him breathe fire. So what's going to end up having to happen is I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut the front of the mouth, and I'm going to raise the head up so that it opens up his mouth, and then somehow, and hopefully it'll be long for this adventure, I'm going to figure out how the hell to make this guy breathe fire, because who wants a dragon that doesn't breathe fire, right? So what I did after a while is, like, once I got him going back together, you can see how there's a gap right here between this. I got them back together once I did this sheeting here. I just wanted to make sure that it looked good, and like the neck was like the right, like the shape. And when I first did it, it's like his neck was down like this. It just didn't look right. So I ended up cutting these two pieces here apart and welded this pipe, and here's inch by inch square tube. Welded that in there, and that's actually supporting all the way up through the back there. Now, as I go along, it's like I said, I've never done this before. I have no flipping clue what I'm doing. So it's 100% just like figure this stuff out as you go. And so, you know, as I get going, got that frame done, like totally got him framed, got a little bit of the head done. I actually set him aside for quite a while. It was one of those things like, what the hell are you thinking? You know, you need to make some stuff that you could sell that, you know, not a 10-foot dragon. So he actually sat, and that's why, like, the front here, you can see, this is all rusted, which I wanted him to rust anyway, but he sat, his head actually without the body sat in the front lawn for a bit, and I feel guilty every time I walk by him. I'm like, dude, me and you have a date, we're gonna hang out. And finally this summer I got myself worked up to a spot where I can spend some time to work on, so I'm pretty excited. So took him, welded his head back on, and I started doing this more of a frame. He needed something a lot more substantial than a 1/4 inch round bar. That round bar frame, that gives me an idea of his shape, where it needs to be, and it gives me places to weld the scales onto, but he needs some kind of sturdy frame so that so he can stand up, so his body can withstand the weight of what's going to happen. Welds look like shit because I didn't clean the, sorry, excuse my language. Welds don't look too good because I didn't really clean them up that good. And what I'm doing is working on getting everything situated and getting it, I've got across the shoulders, I put this piece in here to hold the head where I want it, and that's going to get covered up. Like, you won't see any of this stuff when I'm done. All those pipes, they are going to be gusseted. The welds, I got to clean it up, and it's got to be really strong. Like I said, because this is the first time, I don't have like an engineer that says, hey, you know, you need this and this and this to make it. So it's figuring out as I go. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to way overkill this frame. If I have a problem, if I complete this and the inside frame isn't good, and God forbid, you know, the person that ends up buying this dragon down the road ends up getting it, and something happens, like someone climbs on it, because obviously you're going to want to climb on this back, it's a dragon, someone climbs on it and one of my welds breaks, it will end the dream of me creating, you know, art that I love. It'll, you know, only one problem you have, and it'll ruin just absolutely everything. So I'm super way overkilling this, and I'm going to put gussets throughout the whole thing. And that's what I'm actually working on today is putting gussets in between each of the pipes. So here where these two connect, I'm going to come across with stuff, and I'll actually show you what I'm using. Ridiculously enough, I told you I use scrap for everything. So here is, these are farrier rasps, and one, they're cool. You can make really cool knives out of them. Made a couple feathers. I've used them for I've had a bunch of them laying around, and so today those are going to get used for gussets. I've got just pieces of leftover from table I just got done doing. Railroad spikes. I mean, this is all kinds of stuff. I use this stuff on a daily basis as far as just all kinds of different stuff. I'm always using scrap pieces. So in addition to where I'm showing on frame, here's one of the ones. I've got it starting to gusset here. I've got one down here. I got a couple. Just work in progress. But so this is his towards his tail end, and I've got I'm gonna do each scale. And the scales are 20 gauge sheet steel that I did by now. So what I've got is, let me swing it around here. So I've got a piece of plate steel, something left over from another job I had a while ago. And what I've done is I've taken my plasma cutter and I've cut that to a scale. I've made one scale. So I'm using that as a template as I go through that. I'm templating it. I'll just take the sheet steel and I take it and I trace that onto it, and then I'll use my plasma cutter and I'll show you what I'm using with that. This is just a little Harbor Freight plasma cutter. Flipping love it. It has been a beast. It's the cheapest I could get a plasma cutter for to get one in my shop so that can have. But I'll tell you what, man, it's been like 4.5 years now that I've been like using that on a consistent basis. That is, I love it, man. Just totally. The only thing I've had to change is consumables, and I get it right at Harbor Freight. My MIG Welder, I'm running a 110 MIG. It's you plug it into a 20 amp breaker, and all the stuff you're seeing coming out of my shop, I mainly use that welder, man. It's another one. I've had that for just about 4.5 years, and I've run a few miles of wire through that thing. But you don't need huge fancy setup to get yourself some wicked cool stuff. So next thing is that I had to do, because of the weight of what I was doing. Have you ever seen a dragon on roller skates? Well, now you have. I'm literally 115 pounds, 118 with my boots on, and I can't move this thing around. So I need to be able to move it around in order to weld it and stuff. So I welded some casters onto the bottom of each of the feet so that I can move them around quite easily. And actually, it's kind of entertaining. But yeah, I've been able to move them around pretty easy. It allows me to work on different parts of them. I don't have to drag my welder out into the driveway, and just it makes it a little bit easier. So it's about as far as I am on it now. I am today. I'm going to finish up putting gussets on, and I've got to figure out the wings because the wings are going to be so big that I figured that I need to make them so that they'll come out. And so what I'm doing is once I get the gusseted up where I want it, I am going to take and figure out how to make these wings so that I can remove them, and then for transportation then put them back on, because I don't think I can take something that's like 10 foot wide down the road. I have no idea. And I don't have a trailer either, so maybe I'll leave the roller skates on them and just drag them behind my truck when it's time to deliver them. But hey, stick around. I'm gonna continue doing the saga of the dragon build, and stick around. And if there's something specific you want to know how I did, man, let me know. I'm more than happy to share what I figured out. If you've got suggestions to how to make my job easier, man, I would love to hear what you have to say about it. It's definitely just a labor of love, something I'm figuring out as I go. And hopefully, you guys can see that even though you don't know how to do something, man, just dive in and just figure it out as you go. Be a problem solver, and things will turn out how they're supposed to turn out. Thank you. Have a great day.